Welcome to the Myo Moment, where we shine a light on myofunctional shifts that change lives. This week, we welcome another leading professional in alternative health to help you trade confusion for clarity. I am incredibly honored to have Michele Murdy, one of my really good friends, on today. Michele has been a registered dental hygienist for over 30 years, and her journey into orofacial myofunctional therapy began when a continuing education course opened her eyes to the profound impact of airway, breathing, and oral function, on oral overall health. She then immersed herself in learning from top educators in the field, while also addressing her own myofunctional disorders, which inspired her to help others to do the same. Certified in Buteyko breathing method and sleep, stress, and recovery coaching, she integrates both into her practice, Bridge Myofunctional Therapy in San Francisco. Michele, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you.
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And it's good to see you again.
Oh, it's great to see you. So, I know that you've had a journey recently with your functional frenuloplasty, and that's the case that we're going to discuss today, right?
Yep, yep.
All right. So, take us to the beginning of your journey. Like, when did you discover that this was even something that you needed?
Yeah, going way, way back, my entire life, I had this kind of tightness in my body that you just, nobody figured out, couldn't quite put a finger on it. I, I would walk and just feel like there was a little bit of a forward pull with my head. My parents would always say, stand up straight, stand up straight. And I'm like, I am. But nobody ever figured it out. And then fast forward to a course I took that opened my eyes. It's like the aha moment, myofunctional therapy course. And I'm like, "Gosh, I might have a tongue tie. I should get this checked out." And sure enough, it was actually in a course that I was taking, a conference. I was sitting next to a very well-known frenuloplasty provider, and the speaker said, "Okay, everybody, turn to the person next to you and show them your tongue." And I'm like, "Oh no, this is like the expert." I'm like, "Well, I guess it's the best time." So I did, and he just looked at me and said, "What are you going to do about that?" And I said, "Well, I'm working on it. This is going to be the journey." So that was the beginning of it. Now, I did also learn in the course that I am, and you could probably tell, I have some craniofacial, uh, discrepancies. I was for premolar extraction case and retractive orthodontics back in the day because that's what we knew back then. This was late 70s. So um, I have a pretty narrow palate. So that was my other concern is, well, at my age, benefits versus risk of or do I even have enough tongue space to release the tongue? So I kind of sat on that for a while, and I thought about it, and it's always something that I wanted to do. But then I just started getting busy with my own myofunctional therapy practice and working with clients and seeing them go through everything and starting my network and meeting the providers. I'm like, gosh, I think it's my turn to get checked out again and just see. And so the provider that I work with is, he's one of the leading experts. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get evaluated. So I
I
did.
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
As a provider and as a practitioner, I'm sure you've not only like in lectures and in educational courses heard about some of the benefits, but you had firsthand witnessing the
Yes.
changes in your clients. And so
Yes.
is there something particular that you were hoping for as like a primary goal to get out of this?
Yes. I've also been a dental hygienist for over 30 years, and so that contributes to some of the forward head posture and a lot of head and neck, shoulder tension, all the way down. I've had it, you name it, I've had it all. I've had plantar fasciitis, I've had, hip issues, knee issues, lower back issues, all the way up and down the fascia chain. And I was just hoping for some kind of relief even if we couldn't do a full release because of my narrow palate, just some kind of relief to see if things would change here. So yeah.
Okay. How long did you prepare yourself prior to release?
So funny you ask, because the release was actually itself was actually a bit of a surprise. I had booked a consult with the provider on the same day that one of my clients was having a release because I like to go when I can. I like to go with my clients, and some of them, they want me to hold their hand and just provide support. And I love to do that because it's also a learning experience for me. I love to watch the procedure. And she got sick. And so I was already there for my consult. And while I was there for my consult, my provider said, "Well, there's a slot open. You want to do it right now?" I said, "Well, okay, I'll do it." So now, caveat, being a myofunctional therapist, I would never recommend going to have a functional frenuloplasty without preparation. But because I see clients all the time, I'm pretty well prepped already. So we decided that it would be
Okay, I love that. I love that you felt confident enough to go in. And I'm sure that your release provider, they know you by then. They're like, she knows what to do. And we practice exercises every day anyway. So you've been
yeah,
practicing technically probably for years.
yeah,
So that's the
yeah.
real answer. She practiced for years prior
I
to
did, I
her
did.
release.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Um, your tie, was it anterior? Was it a more posterior restriction? Like, what were we
Yeah,
working?
it was more like mid-tongue posterior restriction. So it wasn't super obvious, but it was all the tension patterns, not complete range of motion. I had worked really well at undoing a lot of the compensations with the lateral jaw and the neck movement, but there was still a lot, mostly neck tension. And some of the things I would also notice is kind of tripping over my words when I would talk, also getting back of the head headaches while talking too long. Like if you and I were talking right now pre-op, I would have a headache right now. So that's how much tension I was getting.
Wow. Did you
Yeah,
have any body work done?
I did. I
Okay.
did. Now, again, because it was a little bit of a surprise, I didn't get to, book any body work ahead of time, but luckily, miracle happened and my body worker had an opening a few days later. So it worked out perfectly.
Wow. Okay. So you get the release done. It's a bit of a surprise. What
Yeah.
is your first thought, or what are the immediate feelings after fascia has been released?
Immediately in the chair, right here, this part of my neck just felt tingly and like it felt like, when you get a myofascial release massage and they're right on that trigger point and you can feel it shake and just like jello. That's what I felt right here. And this is another thing that I hear from a lot of my clients is when they get in the car to go drive home, when they go to back up, they're like, wow, I could really put my arm farther behind the seat so I could look behind and back up. And I just noticed it. And I had the same thing. It's like, because, I was like, no, you're joking. No, no, no. You're just so happy you had it done. But it's like, no, it's true. I felt that. Shoulders looser immediately. And another thing that other people have mentioned is that I feel like I can stand taller now. And I've had people comment to me and say, "What's going on with you? Like something looks different. Are you? I don't know. I feel like you're taller." I'm like, I'm not taller. I think I could just finally straighten up without difficulty. So, so yeah,
I love that. I love that. Okay. Now you've had the release. You were very numb, I'm going to assume,
yes,
post release. What's the reality of recovery?
yeah. So recovery is there's some soreness for sure, but it's manageable. I have all my clients, the first 1 to 3 days, we're keeping our tongue in the mouth. We're not protruding it because, and you'll know your limits too. Um, it's softer foods. Um, I need to also say that at the same time, I also had a soft tissue laser ablation on my soft palate. So there was a little extra work done. So I had some cottage cheese and some yogurt and bananas, things like that for the first few days, but it was manageable. I think I took maybe two 500 milligram Tylenol in the whole 3 day post-op, that initial phase. Yeah. Ice packs under the chin. Um, yeah. And then, going after day 3, then we can start getting the tongue outside of the mouth and starting to improve range of motion, start doing some massages and stretches. And that's when I really started to notice how much my range of motion had improved. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, take us through the timeline of the recovery process, because I think some people think that, it's just this short little window of time, or it's just like a week or whatever. But take us
Yeah.
through the timeline, and then if there was anything that surprised you along the way during recovery.
Yeah. So the timeline, like I said, the first 3 days, that's where you're going to have the most tenderness in the tissue. And, you want to be very gentle, keep talking, keep moving the tongue, but no stretches, massages, softer foods. And then the first week after those 3 days, that's when you can really get in there and do the massages and stretches. Exercises are very important. And around day 5, I tell everyone around days 4 to 7 because it's different for everybody. But around day 5 is when I started noticing. I woke up one morning and ooh, okay, I'm in the contraction phase. All right, that wound is tightening up. I need to say that I just discovered within the last year that I do fall somewhere along the EDS or hypermobility spectrum. So knowing that and suspecting that my wound healing might be a little bit compromised for this, I was already expecting some tightness. I wasn't expecting that much tightness on day 5. I literally woke up and was like, oh, oh, okay, all right. So we're gonna do double everything today. And yeah, so getting body work was really important around that time. Um, and then I'm right at the 2 month mark. So I tell everyone I'm still healing, and the tissue can take up to a year to, it'll go in phases and waves of remodeling. So I notice some days I'll wake up a little tighter and I'll just do a couple of stretches and I'm good. Some days I'm fine. But yeah, body work is definitely a key factor in all of this.
Fantastic. Okay, so I've enjoyed listening to all of this. I am
Hmm.
wonderfully pleased that you have some video and some photos to share with
I
us. So, those of you
do.
listening, you might want to look for the link in the show notes for the video on YouTube and watch if you would like to participate in this next portion. But
Mhm.
feel free to share some of your documentation of
Okay.
this process.
Okay. And just letting everyone know, there is a surgical video about 19 seconds. So if you're a little squeamish, there's also a photo with sutures right after. And there's going to be, I took some photos. I took lots of photos along the journey, but I'm showing like the first few days, then the first week, then the first month, and then last week.
Ooh,
So here we go. Okay, so here is the procedure. Can you see my screen?
I see it.
Okay, here we go. This is the procedure. And so that's with CO2 laser, the light scalpel. And due to my narrow palate, we couldn't do a complete release, but we did the best we can, or he did the best he could with that. I just sat there with my mouth open.
That's hard work.
It is hard work. Well, no, it wasn't. It was easy. I was numb. I didn't feel a thing. Um, okay. Anyway, so this first photo is pre-op. This is me in the chair at my consult, um, and just being told that, okay, we're going to move you to the other room right now. So I figured I'd snap a quick lingual palatal suction. Um, and then here's I'm going to show a suture photo right here. This is right as we are finishing up. And then 1 hour post-op, you'll see there's a little bruising just from the injections, the numbing. Those went away in a day or so. But I had about 3 or 4 sutures. I could not do a lingual palatal suction just because I was told not to. We don't want to pop the suture. So I had a little bit limited range of motion for the first 3 days. And here's day 3 post-op. And day 5. So this is the day that I woke up and was very tight. And you can see right here, I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Yes.
So like right here, this is where the granulation tissue started and it kind of moved up. And that's where things started
Folding
tightening in. Yep, yep. But it was still, the tissue still felt pretty supple. But this is that day where I noticed I was losing range of motion. So what I did, this is a photo when I woke up, and then I put some serapeptase right along here and did some stretches, and you can see the difference in the range of motion just from a couple minutes there. So felt much better.
If you don't mind me asking, for the general public who is listening, the
Yes,
serapeptase, what is that?
yes,
Why did you need it?
yes. So that is an enzyme that it's getting recommended more and more to help prevent that thickening, the tightening of the granulation tissue. That is a natural part of wound healing, but some of us, like I'm finding out myself with the hypermobility spectrum, we tend to tighten up a lot more. So what you want to do is after the sutures have come out, just crack open a capsule and you dab. I was just dabbing with a Q-tip a little bit along here, letting it sit for about 2 minutes, rinsing out, and that just helps kind of break down that scar tissue just a little bit on a surface level. You know, another thing internally that one of my mentors shared with me, which is valuable information, and thank you, Virginia, is uh, papaya and pineapple smoothies, especially those first 3 days, because those enzymes, the pineapple has the bromelain and the papaya has papain. And so they can kind of help internally assist with the wound healing and prevent that tissue from tightening. Again, you know, because I'm a little bit on the hypermobility spectrum, my body's just going to fight all my best efforts. But yeah, those are some tips and tricks that really help. And I think it helped me. I'm still eating, I like papaya, so I'm still eating papaya every day. So getting the good vitamin C and getting those enzymes. But yeah, serapeptase is something that your provider might recommend as well if someone's going to have a frenuloplasty. And it's recommended usually around, you know, like I said, when the sutures come out or around day 5 for a couple of weeks. I was doing it twice a day, morning and night. And I do it before my stretches. And I felt like it helped.
Thank you for that explanation.
Yeah. And then let's see, what do I have? I have 1 week, and you can see the difference here with the floor of the mouth and my salivary duct. You can't see it in these photos, but it's the way I healed, it started to tighten up this way. It started to come back up again, and you can see my Wharton's duct getting more and more visible. My tissue just kind of did that. So again, with my stretches, I fought it and did my best to just kind of go against that. This is day 10, noticeable difference. See how it's a little bit thicker and whiter right there. And I've seen that before with some of my clients with EDS or hypermobility. So at least I was prepped on my own going into it. Day 15, and again, it ebbs and flows. You know, it looks a little bit tighter here on day 10, and then day 15, it was loosening up a little bit. So ebbs and flows, right? And then here's day 19, still a little inflammation. I think this may have been a photo right after my stretches too. And then here we have 1 month. So after day 19, I really didn't get many changes. That's why I didn't take another photo till the 1 month. So this was my 1 month anniversary, and you'll see this thicker band of tissue. And this is the lingual palatal suction. Again, okay, I'm pretty narrow, so you'll see that little tongue spillover. That's not ideal, but we made the benefit versus risk decision in the chair. Um, and then this was today's Monday. This was Thursday, about half an hour after having a Kenalog injection to help break down that tissue. And Kenalog is a steroid injection that helps it's more internal. It kind of does what that serapeptase we were talking about does. And then when I got home, I got my light out, and the next day I took another shot of what things look like. And that's pretty much what they look like to this day.
That is fabulous. What a great release. What great documentation of the whole thing. I love this. This is going to be really helpful.
And then, one more thing that I noticed. And this was about a week after. I've always had kind of, like I always said, the bullfrog chin. I think, hyoid bone position, but things are changing here since having the release. So, and again, right in the chair, I noticed, I felt the change. So just thought I'd share that one.
That is wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay, I have to ask, for anyone who might be listening that may be considering or might be in their process right now after their release, is there one key takeaway that you think they can take from your journey, or that's very important that you would like them to know?
Well, a few things, I guess. Always, follow your provider's recommendations and instructions. Follow the myofunctional therapy instructions. The exercises and stretches are key. And so is bodywork. Bodywork, a skilled body worker, manual osteopath, myofascial release, even, if you can't access someone to do bodywork, even getting a foam roller and doing things yourself, stretching out your neck, maybe with some tennis balls or lacrosse balls, keeping this tissue moving, keeping everything in line. That's really going to help you succeed. And if you're thinking about it and haven't gotten checked out yet, I would say, just get properly evaluated. I have a lot of clients call me and say, oh yeah, I saw this video on YouTube and I think I have a tongue tie. It's like, well, let's check. let's check. And again, I tell them I can't put that diagnosis on it, but I can at least screen for it and then get you to a provider to confirm it, and then we work together. It's a collaborative effort. It's a team effort. So yeah.
I love that.
So
I love that.
Many takeaways.
Yes. I appreciate you so much for sharing all of that, including the images and the video. If anybody has any questions or they feel inspired and they want to reach out and work with you, how can they find you?
Yeah, they can find me via my website, which is www.thebridgemyo.com. They can find me. I just started an Instagram page because I'm learning with this technology. So that's also The Bridge Myo. So I like to spell it out. It's TheBridgeMyo. Well, let's snap that. And yeah, so best way is probably via my website.
Fantastic.
And I'm San Francisco based.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything that you've experienced and a lot of your knowledge and your wisdom. I think the audience is better for it. And I would like to encourage you as the audience to just take a proactive step. If any part of this story or this episode has enlightened you and made a shift from confusion to clarity, just take the next step, whatever that next step may be, whether it's reaching out to Michele or finding a local myofunctional therapist, but do something because you're worth it. I'll look forward to seeing you next week.